Hey guys, welcome to Drink Coin. It's Tyler again, and I've got a really fire stock for you guys today. It's been kind of getting a little more traction on social media based on them selling some common shares out to the public today, and it dropped the price a little bit, but this is setting up for a very nice buy-in based on what the company does. To just get right into it, we're looking at Hepion Pharmaceuticals, and they go under the ticker HEPA. And currently what their most prevalent project is a drug called CRV431. What CRV431 is meant to be essentially is a drug that helps combat fatty liver disease in different ways, but more so with just having anti-inflammatory properties, having anti-fibrotic and anti-cancer activities, which are usually the cause of death from fatty liver disease. It's supposed to help with just like cellular stress and death as well. So this is supposed to basically essentially work on a lot of those conditions that there's no current drug out there to fix these issues. There's no other marketed drug out in the public right now that is able to properly do all of these different things for anybody afflicted with some sort of cirrhosis or anything like that of the liver. And so this is a very promising development in the clinical stages from Hepion, and I think this is going to be a very nice long-term option. But short-term, I can see this doubling pretty easily just because of how low the prices are right now, since they sold off common shares to be able to afford research and development. And if we go over here on this article, this is a very promising sign coming from late December, early January, where they came out and talked about some of the results they were having in their phase 2A trials. What CRV431 is showing at a low dose is that it's proving very effective for what they're looking for in biomarkers and different things along those lines of what they're trying to track, or how cells react to it, how any type of damage would be basically kind of like stopped in its tracks from furthering in a more aggressive manner. And what they're looking to do in this trial is they're continuing with a higher dose currently, and they're looking to complete this dosing with actual patients that have this disease as trials going forward into Q1 of 2021. So we're already in the middle of getting here, so we can see these results coming up soon. And this is going to be more information that's probably going to be coming out for a lot of their stuff here over the next couple of days, because they are in the middle of a bio, CEO, and investor digital conference that is being held today, February 16th through February 18th, so Thursday of this week. And their stuff is all going to be up on their website for 30 days for the presentation, so we'll be able to read it more on that. I'm going to be checking that out as well, and I'll most likely make an update video on the information that I see. But it's going to be very promising for what they could be potentially talking about as a whole during this presentation, and where this is going to lead to over time with their results as a treatment of non-alcoholic liver disease. One more thing that really makes me interested in this company is that they have a technology that they're using called AI-POWR, and AI-POWR is helping them with their clinical studies of CRV431, and it's basically an AI that can facilitate precision medicine-based treatment approaches to treating NASH, or that liver disease kind of affliction that a lot of people have. It's able to basically identify responders to the drug and inform the development of biomarkers, so you can kind of see how the drug is interacting with the body on a more in-depth level that you probably wouldn't be able to see in general studies without this technology. Not only is this good for CRV431, but this technology could be good for therapeutic drugs as a whole for other diseases down the road. So between this drug and their AI-POWR that they're using in their company and that they're developing, there's going to be very promising projects coming down their pipeline as they get more and more developed on these. Now, like I was telling you about earlier briefly, there was a pretty nasty price drop earlier, and it's expected to close on February 18th, so Thursday. But basically what they did was they underwrote 44,200,000 shares of common stock for a price of $2 per share, which was obviously below what the stock was selling at. And this is for an amount of $88.4 million. What it's supposed to be used for is for the funding of research and development activities, and for working capital for their company to be able to further progress with these trials and develop these drugs that they're working on. to help those that are in these different afflictions that otherwise don't have a current treatment besides for doctors to mitigate symptoms. So I'm not concerned with the price drop. I think this is actually just a very good opportunity to buy in low and load up. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. I'm going to try to get myself a good like 50 shares or so personally, just to get it long term, because I am more of a long term kind of person for my investment style. And I do see this being a very promising company down the road, like I viewed PAVmed and a couple of the other companies I've been looking at. As you can see here on the graph for HEPA, they had their dip around towards closing. This is about around the time frame that they were announcing those shares, so it's about midday. But even though the dip was down there around that 2.221 range, they were doing a steadily hike up another like 20 cents after hours. So that's a pretty good indication that there's a lot of people still interested in it. Obviously, this is going to be because it's more volatile, because there's less volume in. As you can see, there's a decent amount of volume here. You don't really see much volume here, so that's why the price would move up a lot. There's probably just a lot of people buying after hours trying to get in on this as the news became more public and widespread for their common shares being issued. But I would say it's still a pretty good range to buy under 2.5 range. I do see this short term in the next week or two hitting up to that $4 range, depending on how much more volume comes in or anything of that nature. But a lot of it's going to be based on just how people react to the news as it comes over time and how scared off they're going to be about the shares being issued. But I'm personally not scared by these shares being issued. This is just looking for a very good discount for me personally, especially as a long time investor in something like this. As you can see here during market, it did have still a pretty steady trend upwards from where it was previously. It went from about that less than a 2.2 range all the way up to like a 2.25, almost 2.3 as the bottom line for this. It did peak above these ranges a little bit throughout the day. Crazy aftermarket mover, it seems like, because it did have a crazy movement Friday aftermarket all the way down, and it did have this steady uptrend aftermarket. So it seems like it's just one of those stocks that gets influenced a lot by volume in general. As you can see here, the free float's 31.96. So any amount of like just a little bit of volume is going to push this like crazy. Anything under 100 million free float is usually going to be significant for what's going to push the stock price up or down really easy. So a lot of buying volume in, especially with this news, is going to be pretty easy to get the price up. And here I'm going to pull out the Fibonacci extension just so we can kind of get some lines going. I usually don't do too technical of analysis on, or try not to add too many lines in my stuff, but I feel like this is a very important one so we can get a few different support points going. I do see this dipping back down towards market open. Pre-market, it's probably going to run around a little bit because of volatility, but as we get to market open, I do see this getting like a nice sell-off because of this aftermarket rise, and people are going to be capitalizing on it if they bought low. I think around this 2.269 line or under is where it's a lot of the buy points are going to be able to get in. So anywhere between like 2.1 and 2.25, I think you're going to be able to buy pretty significantly. And then I'm going to be looking forward to test pre-market around this 2.349 at some point if it gets enough volume in with a lot more people buying in and getting interested in it, like it seems they were in this aftermarket bonanza that was going on. So if it retests this 2.349, I don't see why it wouldn't run up and possibly retest this 4 range. I would say it's probably going to fluctuate around this area and 2.269. So it's going to be 2.269 and about the 2.3 area. If it breaks that 2.3, I do see it retesting up the same ranges that this did after hours during normal market hours. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am really excited about Hepion Pharmaceuticals as a company and as a stock. They have a very unique drug coming down the pipeline, as well as their AI that they're using to utilize that could help just therapeutic drugs from any other company that might potentially be in a partnership with them down the road. So this could definitely set them up for success long term, whether it be by the drug or by the AI. And it makes me very excited as a investor in the company going forward. That's going to do it for me today, guys. I'll catch you next time in the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe and comment anything you would want me to analyze in the future for you. Peace.